In the heart of what we call the Holy Land, where time itself seems to pause in reverence, there exists a city that has drawn pilgrims for millennia. Jerusalem, its very name a whisper of ancient prayers, its streets worn smooth by countless feet seeking divine connection. But I'm here to tell you about something darker, something that lurks just beyond those sacred walls, where the line between devotion and damnation grows thin enough to tear. The Valley of Hinnom waits there, silent now, but bearing the weight of unspeakable history. Stand with me at its edge, where the wind that stirs your hair is the same wind that once carried the smoke of unholy sacrifices to the heavens. This is no ordinary ravine. This is the place that gave birth to our very concept of hell. Indeed, the Hebrew word for this valley became their word for eternal damnation. Not by coincidence, I assure you. Picture, if you will, ancient times when desperation drove people to unthinkable acts. Imagine a father watching his crops wither in the field, hearing his children cry from hunger. What bargain might such a man strike with darker powers? In this valley they built great pits of fire, and there, I speak this with a heavy heart, they sacrificed their firstborn sons to entities they believed could save them. These are not mere legends we speak of. The Bible itself, through the prophet Jeremiah, thunders with God's rage at these unholy sacrifices. They have built the high places of Topheth in the valley of Ben Hinnom to burn their sons and daughters in the fire, something I did not command, nor did it enter my mind. Archaeological evidence confirms what many would prefer to forget, the earth itself bearing mute testimony to humanity's capacity for darkness. And from these shadows emerged a figure that would haunt human consciousness for millennia to come. Satan, the adversary, known by many names across many lands, Beelzebub, whispering temptation, Lucifer, the fallen morning star, the Prince of Darkness, threading through our nightmares. In the East, Buddhism speaks of Mara, the demon king. Islam tells of Iblis, the eternal deceiver. Different masks, my friends, but all hiding the same ancient darkness. Throughout history, artists and scribes have attempted to capture this entity's essence. In Western Europe, around the 8th and 9th centuries, we begin to see the devil depicted in church art and manuscripts. Always a monstrous fusion, half human, half beast, sometimes winged, sometimes horned, alternately red or black, often surrounded by lesser demons and emerging from hell's flames. These images spoke to primal fears, yes, but also to a deeper truth. Humanity's need to give face to the darkness we sense lurking at the edges of our world. Even now, in our age of smartphones and space stations, this battle continues. I've stood in St. Peter's Square watching Pope Francis himself perform an exorcism before thousands of witnesses. The Church's exorcists, yes, they still exist, speak of things that defy our modern understanding. Frail bodies displaying impossible strength, levitation defying gravity's ancient laws, untaught tongues speaking languages dead for millennia. Let me tell you of Father Gabriele Amorth, the late chief exorcist of Rome, who performed thousands of exorcisms while maintaining his skeptical modern mindset. When you've seen what I've seen, he would say, skepticism becomes a luxury of the uninformed. His cases involved not the superstitious or the gullible, but lawyers, doctors, military personnel, rational minds confronting irrational evil. These spiritual warriors fight on two fronts, treating both the psychological and the supernatural, understanding that darkness feeds on human pain, like a parasite, The demonic, one exorcist told me, attaches itself to our wounds, our angers, our unforgiveness. Heal these, and you give evil less to grab onto. But let us turn our gaze westward, where another monument to mystery rises from the earth. Devil's Tower, 900 feet of geological defiance, clawing at the Wyoming sky like nature's own monument to the impossible. Science, our modern religion, struggles to explain its presence. Yes, it's volcanic rock, but where is the volcano? Why here amid these sedimentary plains does this dark sentinel stand eternal watch? Drive across the prairie, and you'll see nothing but flat ground for miles. Then suddenly it appears. A colossal shaft of rugged rock, greenish-gray against the tans and browns of the surrounding landscape. The native peoples who first walked these lands call it Matotipila, and in their wisdom, they recognize it as something more than mere stone. I've stood at its base, felt what they speak of, an energy that builds with each step closer, a presence that makes even skeptics fall silent. Hollywood understood its power. When Steven Spielberg needed a location for humanity's first contact with the beyond in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, he chose Devil's Tower. Not by chance, I assure you. The tower's presence doubled its visitors after the film, as if awakening some primal recognition in the human psyche. But our journey isn't complete. Let me take you now to a place where 1,000,000 acres of wilderness swallow the unwary. The pine barrens of New Jersey. Here, among ancient pines and darkness that feels alive, lurks a creature that has haunted local nightmares for over 250 years. The Jersey Devil. Picture, if your courage allows, a beast assembled from humanity's darkest dreams, the head of a horse crowned with horns, a serpentine body, the legs of a kangaroo, bat-like wings, and a forked tail. Its cry, part scream, part roar, sends even the bravest souls fleeing into the night. The forest here is primeval, dense enough to swallow sound, dark enough to hide nightmares. Its origin story unfolds like a dark fairy tale. Leeds, Point, 1735. A woman giving birth to her 13th child curses her fate in a moment of despair. Let the devil take this one. The universe, it seems, has a taste for tragic irony. The child, born normal, transformed before the midwife's horrified eyes into something else. Some say it killed its mother before flying up the chimney. Others claim it simply vanished into the Barrens, where it has terrorized generations since. The tale might have remained local folklore, but then came 1909. That was the year the legend erupted into mass hysteria. Hundreds reported encounters with the creature. Schools closed their doors. Businesses shuttered their windows. The Philadelphia Zoo offered a king's ransom for its capture. $10,000, a fortune in those days. Even American military hero Commodore Stephen Decatur claimed an encounter, reporting that he had fired a cannonball through the creature's wing to no effect. The devil, it seemed, was impervious to human weapons. Through the years, the sightings continued. Police officers, teachers, ministers, credible witnesses all reported encounters that defied explanation. The creature was seen perched on rooftops, diving at cars, leaving strange tracks in the snow. Each sighting added to the legend. Each encounter reinforced the growing certainty that something otherworldly stalked these woods. Before European settlers arrived, the Lenape people called these woods the place of the dragon. Different culture, different century, same terror. Today the Jersey Devil remains, reminding us that even in our modern world of satellite maps, and scientific certainty, some corners of darkness remain unexplored. These places, the Valley of Hinnom, Devil's Tower, the Pine Barrens, they stand as testimonies to humanity's complex relationship with the unknown. They remind us that beneath our veneer of civilization and scientific understanding, ancient mysteries still prowl the shadows of our world. They speak to something deeper than reason, something older than science, something that dwells in the primitive corners of our minds where instinct and fear still hold sway. The Valley of Hinnom teaches us that desperate faith can lead to terrible deeds, that the line between worship and wickedness is thinner than we might wish to believe. Devil's Tower stands as nature's challenge to our understanding, a monument to the limits of human knowledge. And the Pine Barrens, with its legendary devil, reminds us that some fears are too deeply rooted to be dismissed by mere rationality. In the end, perhaps their greatest purpose is to keep us humble, to remind us that, despite all our achievements, all our understanding, some mysteries refuse to yield their secrets to the light of day. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's exactly as it should be. For what is mystery, after all, but the darkness that defines our light? What is faith but the shadow cast by doubt? In these places where the sacred and profane meet, where ancient evil brushes against modern understanding, we find something profound. A reminder that the world is larger than our comprehension, deeper than our science, and far, far stranger than we dare imagine. And so these places endure, drawing new generations to their mysteries, challenging our certainties, and whispering ancient secrets to those who dare to listen. They stand as bridges between what we know and what we fear, between what we understand and what we sense, lurking just beyond our understanding. For in the end, it is not the light we seek in these dark places, but the truth about ourselves, about what we believe, what we fear, and what we're willing to accept about a world that remains, despite all our progress, mysterious and wild at its heart.